Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Fintech Panel Webinar. My name's Amaya, I'm from Chaser, and I'll be moderating your session today. So just to take you through some quick housekeeping before we get going, you will be emailed the webinar recording either this afternoon or tomorrow morning, so no need to take any super extensive notes. We'll also be running a Q&A session at the end, so if you think of anything whilst the panelists are presenting, feel free to drop that into the Q&A box and we'll answer those all at the end. So I'll briefly hand over to our panel now, who can give you a bit of background and introduce themselves. And I'm going to start with Chris at Lightyear.
Thank you, Amaya. Hi, everyone. I'm Chris. I'm the founder and CEO of Lightyear. Really good to be here today. I appreciate the opportunity from Chaser, and also appreciate all of you guys that are attending for giving us the time. So I look forward to sharing some more information about Lightyear shortly.
Hi guys, I'm Sanjay. I'm one of the business development managers at Expend. Expend's an all-in-one expense management platform. We've got a wide variety of functionality that I'll touch on in the webinar. A little bit about me. I've been in sales as soon as I learned how to talk. Started off working in my dad's travel agency as a child over the school holidays, and now I'm heading up Expend Sales, working with a wide variety of businesses, big and small, whilst also supporting our accounting partners.
Hi, so I'm Lorena. I work at Spotlight. I'm an account manager there. I'm quite similar to Sanjay with the background of starting in sales pretty early on. Spotlight is a reporting and forecasting cloud-based software, so I'll be touching base a little bit more on that later on. And I've been with the company for a little bit over 2 years now, and I work with, again, big and small companies across the UK, MEA, and South Africa.
Brilliant. Thanks, Lorena. And hi, everybody. My name's Chris. I'm head of partnerships at Chaser. I've been at Chaser for 2 or 3 months now, so quite new to the company, but we're accounts receivable automation software. And I work closely with our accountant and bookkeeping providers to promote Chaser as an application. So great to be here today. Looking forward to speaking to you all. And yeah, I'll pass it back to Amaya, who will cover the next section.
Okay, so if you would like to engage with us on social, I've just shared all of our LinkedIn handles up on screen here. So if you use the hashtags Fintech or cashflow, we'll be sure to give you a like. We've also just shared links to each of our panelists' LinkedIn accounts in the chat box there. So if you missed the Q&A or there's something that you forget to ask, feel free to reach out to them on there. To go through what we'll cover today then, Chris at Chaser will cover an introduction to the business fintech landscape and how to increase your cash in and improve efficiency in your receivables process. Next, you'll hear from Lorena about improving efficiency and decision making with forecasting and reporting tech. Then Chris at Lightyear will take you through how to cut your admin time and run a more efficient payables process. Then last but not least, Sanjay will take you through improving your expense management efficiency and accuracy. So I'll just hand you back over to Chris at Chaser now, who will take you through fintech for businesses.
Super. Thanks a million, Amaya. And again, just to reiterate, great to be here today and to chat to you all, and thanks all for attending. So let's look at the first question here. What actually is fintech? And we know over the past few years, there's been a huge buzz around the term fintech, specifically consumer fintech. So I guess everybody on the call today has heard of Monzo, Revolut, Starling, other challenger banks out there in the marketplace. But it appears that the level of awareness for business fintech and the apps available is not as prevalent across the small and medium business sector. So I guess our objective today is really try to raise awareness in this webinar and showcase to you all 4 fintech solutions that are designed to help SMEs survive, grow, and succeed. So before we move on further, let's look at actually what does fintech mean. And I took a quote here from Investopedia, and I'll read out this quote very quickly. But financial technology, fintech, is used to describe new technology that seeks to improve and automate the delivery and use of financial services. At its core, Fintech is utilized to help companies, business owners, and consumers better manage their financial operations, processes, and lives by utilizing specialized software and algorithms that are used on computers and increasingly smartphones. So I guess if pulling a number of phrases out of that blurb today, the two key words that I pull out of that are automation and improvement. And I guess meaning that fintech is designed to save time and improve productivity across SMEs, whilst generating business gains that would not have been possible without the software. So what we'd like to do today, just before we move forward in the presentation here, is we'd love to do a poll across the attendees on the webinar. You'll see a pop-up appear on the screen, and here it is now. And what we'd like you to do is actually just select within these sections what SME fintech you're actually using or adopting within your own organization. If everybody could just spend a couple of moments actually completing this, that'd be great. And we'll come back to it in a few slides time to take a look at the results. So I'll give everybody 10 or 15 seconds to have a look at this. Fantastic. Great stuff. So let's have a look at adoption of SME fintech and how it's changed over the past couple of years. So according to EY's Global Fintech Adoption Index, 1 in 4 SMEs have adopted fintech globally in 2019. The highest adoption being in China at 61%, followed by the USA at 23%. So a big gap between the two there, indicating most countries are well below that 20% adoption rate. And as we all know, during the pandemic and the recession, cash flow and resources have been stretched thin for SMEs. Disjointed financial processes have become an increasingly disruptive problem for many business leaders as teams adapt to working remotely. And with more staff furloughed and reduced headcounts, efficiency in business workflows is required more than ever. So as a result of this, business fintech adoption has rocketed. And Yabota, who are a core banking platform, actually conducted some research on fintech adoption and found between March and July last year in 2020, during the pandemic, fintech adoption rose by 50%. They actually found out during this survey of 1,000 SMEs, 66% of respondents were reliant on fintech for their day-to-day operations. So what are the top reasons for adoptions? Well, I don't think anything will be new within here for everybody on the webinar today, but the range of features and functionalities was one of the key features of why SMEs adopt fintech. And compatibility with daily operations, infrastructure, and integrations with incumbent systems is a key need and requirement of why a provider would adopt a certain fintech solution. Trust in providers' team and reputation, absolute critical one. And key within here is ease of setting up and configuring and using the actual application. So these are the kind of 4, I guess, core reasons for adoption. Okay, if we have a look at the fintech landscape, the scale of applications available to help SMEs is absolutely enormous. Here's just a few examples on the screen you can find on the Xero app marketplace. So we have within here inventory management solutions, shipping solutions. I can see Deer within here. We've got e-commerce solutions like Shopify. It's great to see Expend and Lightyear and Spotlight and Chaser within here as well. But multiple applications actually available for SMEs within this. And let's actually go back to the poll we ran earlier, and it's we'll have a look. So what fintech are you using in your business? And if everyone can bring this up on screen, 95% of responses were small business accounting software such as Xero and FreeAgent. It's great to see that level has been adopted. Enterprise accounting probably slightly level, and as this is webinars designed more around the SME perspective, that seems like a viable figure. Expense management tools at 7%, accounts receivable tools 44%, payable tools at 7%, reporting tools at 23%, and payroll tools at 9%. Their practice management tools for accountants at 14%, and payment platforms at 44%. So I guess around the core anchor products, a lot of adoption, as we can see from the survey results here. But perhaps for some of the wider applications, the wider fintech applications, there's a lot less adoption, and hopefully today we can provide more awareness of how these can add value to your business. So how can we harness the power of fintech within your business? And I guess there's a number of key areas that we can actually look into here to get advice, support, and help in terms of deciding which software is right for my business. Groups and communities are a great place to go to. We recommend joining communities where others discuss business problems and what they've used to solve those problems. This can be software user groups, community groups on LinkedIn, or review communities like the Zero Business community. And there's some great blogs to follow for advice on the best fintech to use and what problems they solve. Accounting Insight News dedicated tech section and practice sections is a great place to go, as is Accounting Web's tech section, and great to grab some industry insight in relation to applications and the value that they can add. I'm sure a lot of the accountants on the webinar today have heard a number of the names we've put below already, but if you're a business yourself, it's really worth checking out and following these people on LinkedIn. These influencers in the fintech world. Stuart Hurst at Accounts and Legal, really worth a follow. Some great blogs, LinkedIn posts and webinars run by Stuart, and he won MVP at the Zero Awards last night. So really good person to follow on LinkedIn to get advice and direction in terms of applications. From a trade and construction perspective, Laura Taylor at Empowered by Cloud gives great insight into this specific trade construction industry, both from a fintech and cloud perspective. Dan Cockerton, founder of the Digital Accountancy Show, again, some great shares, blogs, and events that he runs with his team. And last but not least, James Ashford, founder of Go Proposal and director of MAP, great keynote speaker. And again, some great insight that's shared by James in terms of what applications could be right for your business. You can compare fintech providers and check their reviews on sites like G2, Capterra, and Software Advice. And if you're having a real particular problem, such as forecasting, cash flow, late payment, accounts payables, again, G2 and Capterra are great tools to compare different fintech applications. Okay, we're going to move now just into looking at some of the problems around late payment and how Chaser can support. Xero and PayPal ran a survey back in 2019, which stated 48% of all invoices are paid late. And it won't come as any surprise for the attendees on the call today that late payment has increased massively over the last 12 to 14 months. What was a major challenge for SMEs before the pandemic has been exacerbated, a 209% increase since the World Health Organization declared a pandemic in terms of late payment. And what impact does this have? For many SMEs, reduced headcount, staff stretch their time with more responsibilities within the business, and therefore maintaining a healthy cash flow is absolutely paramount than ever to try to withstand this recession. And many businesses turn to us at Chaser to drive greater efficiencies in their receivables processes and increase their cash in through faster payments and reduced bad debt. So what is Chaser? Well, we're accounts receivable automation and credit control service, as I mentioned earlier. We provide a full receivables management solution that reports, tracks, and chases outstanding invoice by integrating with the data in your accounting system. What makes us different at Chaser is that all our chasing is done in the way that looks personalized and hand-typed, so your customers never know you're using an automated system, which helps save time whilst maintaining great customer relationships. And there's a quote here from Wolfgang Digital, a prominent European digital marketing agency, who really value the personalization around the platform and the thanks for paying messages, which are a key part of Chaser and its application. So in a little more detail, at Chaser, we believe that credit control should be an extension of customer service. We believe that customers to respond positively to requests for payment, their experience should be completely aligned with their interactions with other members of the team. And communication should match regular business style. So Chaser is actually built on the premise that for automation to be effective, our users need to be able to personalize their communications in this way. And our features have been built to achieve this effect. Our newly released payment portal enables users of Chaser to provide their customers with a link to a payment portal for which they're able to make payments via Stripe or bank transfer to further support getting paid faster. Exportable reports that deep dive some of the accounts receivable activity can be viewed within Chaser to enable tracking over time and view those trends over a specific time period. Unlimited customizable schedules that you can adapt to different groups of your customers. For instance, you may want to take a more sensitive approach chasing long-term clients than you would chasing continuous bad players, for example. So all of our schedules are fully editable to match a tone of voice within your business. And finally, our customer page in the application is where our customer relationship management tool, our CRM tool, logs all communication history between users and customers. A full audit trail of all chasing emails, as well as replies and responses, will be recorded here to ensure the whole team are up to date with the status of that customer chase. In relation to Chaser collections, we know that recovering late payments whilst keeping customers happy can sometimes feel like a huge balancing act. Our collection service aims to make it simple with friendly debt recovery function that you can trust. So we've got a team of ethically trained in-house collectors who take a collaborative approach and work towards an agreeable solution for both you and your customer. So the aim is to recover bad debts whilst protecting relationships. And this service actually integrated within the Chaser software, so you can track all the interaction with your customer, including their responses within the Chaser CRM features that I mentioned earlier. And you can easily escalate an overdue late payment to our collection team with a couple of clicks of a mouse. Just a couple of Chaser testimonials here. Rosanna from Love Brands. Ease of simplicity, ease of implementation of Chaser, and saving at least 15 hours a week by using that service versus some of the mundane repetitive tasks that they were implementing beforehand. And Purple Lime, who are an accountant partners of ours, have seen outstanding debts brought down in some cases by over 80%. And again, this ability to customize and add that personal touch to emails and credit control has been the key differentiating factor for them in their success. So typically we see users of Chaser get paid 16 days sooner. They typically save upwards of 15 hours per week on accounts receivables management, and they reduce the days sales outstanding by 25%, which again, for any SME is a great success story. For the great work we've been doing supporting businesses, we've got actually over 400 reviews, all at a perfect 5-star rating on the Xero App Store. And it makes us the highest rated app for receivables on the Xero marketplace. We were Xero App Partner of the Year in 2016 and Xero App Partner in 2019 in August. And we've got a current Net Promoter Score of 62. We have recently benchmarked NPS across fintech and SaaS companies, and it sits at 30. So we're really proud we've got so many promoters within our business. We've also been awarded Cloud App of the Year at the Accounting Excellence Awards for 3 years running now. So in terms of next steps, you can learn more about Chaser by visiting us at chaserhq.com. Please feel free to take out a 14-day free trial, no obligation, no card details within here. And have a look at the application, connect it to your accounting software, and start to reduce the risk of late payment and bad debt. Thanks everyone for listening today. I'm going to hand you now over to Lorena at Spotlight, who will take you through forecasting and reporting tech.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris, for passing it on. And thank you all for taking the time to look at the different tools to implement as part of your cash flow services. Today, I'll be walking you through how to improve efficiency and decision-making with your reporting and forecasting tool. So the agenda for me in the next 10 minutes is to talk to you a little bit more around our product, the key features, the keys to good cash flow, and finish on action points to take away. So in terms of Spotlight, if you don't know about Spotlight, it's a reporting, forecasting, and consolidation tool. Our goal is to help accountants make that shift into advisory while generating additional fees. So we have 4 different products: the dashboard, reports, forecast, and multi. I'll be focusing on the forecasting tool today, but just to give you a brief overview, the dashboard is usually used as an introductory tool to your higher advisory services, and it allows you to quickly produce a visual outcome to highlight the key areas you want to focus on with your client. The reporting tool is basically a tool that you can present a P&L, balance sheet, and cash flow information, as well as non-financial and KPIs and targets. You can consolidate up to 75 entities together alongside our multi-currency feature and intercompany elimination, and you're still consolidating on a cash flow basis. So you can also do forward projections and get that to appear on your reports as an introduction to forecasting. So today I want to focus on forecasting because this is where you'll be able to improve efficiency and decision making. So the 3 keys to good cash flow are cash flow collection with the likes of Chaser, cash flow management, and then cash flow forecasting, which is where Spotlight comes in. When we talk about cash flow, for me, 2 things come to mind. First of all, is understanding how you set up those services as part of your service offerings. And then secondly is usually actually understanding how to use the forecasting tool to support those. So I'm going to touch base on both of those in the next couple of slides. So when you look at how to improve your cash flow services, the question that you should be asking yourself is, what services do I need to offer to my small business clients to have their house in order? Or what are the foundational elements I want to put in place for my clients? So the aim is obviously to get a small number of highly successful clients and of high value. And that starts with how you actually set up your service offerings. So I've got a wheel there of different services. I'm going to walk through what I mean by each one of them. First of all, the budget. The budget is vital to every business, and today this should be a core part of your services. That goes along with the reporting, which obviously is today super easy to create, specifically with Spotlight, and you can get visual management reports that really speak to the clients in their time. So that again should be part of your core services. You have cash flow collection, which is covered with Chaser. You have annual pricing reviews, which are essential to the client's business. That's where the accountant really comes in and becomes that trusted advisor in guiding the client in becoming proactive about their business. Scenarios are really important. They allow you to create multiple scenarios from your initial budgets. The power of that functionality is that you can test various theories or what if scenarios of your business, your client's business. What's interesting is you can set expectations that your clients and you have of your client's business, and then you can also have what could be achieved with an aspiration scenario. Another service which is sometimes overlooked is debt and investment, which is another big fee earner for the firm. But for the client, what that means is that it can save them a considerable amount of money. And then coming back to budgets, which is the last one on the wheel, is we all know that budgeting is sort of an opinion and cash flow forecasting is a fact. Obviously, there's always a small degree of assumption and estimate with a cash flow forecast, but the forecast is often what makes the difference between success and failure. So cash flow forecast is not just a nice little thing you do for your clients, it's actually vital to their business. So that's a list of great service offerings that you can set up in your firm to support your clients, to offer them high value insight, to generate more revenue for your firm. So a great way to get started with this is by providing your clients with a budget, and then from there moving on to cash flow forecast. So in terms of our forecasting tool, so we have an exciting release, which is our consolidated forecasting, which I will touch on in a bit. But our Spotlight forecasting is basically a 3-way forecast. So P&L, balance sheet, and cash flow. You can project out 5 years and create 5 what-if scenarios. And we are obviously in an economic environment that's rapidly changing with the lockdowns. So it's important to have those what-if scenarios to help your clients scenario plan for different cells based on the lockdowns here. So there's so many ways to use this to be really proactive about the situation. So with Spotlight forecasting, you can produce a high-level month-on-month forecast. It's typically used by accountants in aiding their clients gain capital with regards to investment forecasting. And as our CEO would say, and I quote, if accountants aren't offering a forecast to their clients, they're missing out on a huge opportunity to deepen their relationship and add value. And with Spotlight forecasting, we're trying to empower accountants to provide a future view to solve many of their challenges that businesses face. Some of our key features that are also in Spotlight Forecasting are annual, quarterly, and monthly options. You have dynamic rules, loan amortization, and comparison pages. So as I mentioned, consolidated forecasting, this is one of our most significant updates we've made on our products. You now have the tools and the flexibility to provide your clients with powerful consolidated forecasts. This is a genuine evolution of the forecasting in the cloud. It's really taking forecasting to the next level. So you can now consolidate up to 75 entities together and use our multi-currency function. This allows you to combine the individual forecast and scenarios and have that group level view of your business's future and to fit your most complex clients. So now you've got this really powerful tool that's easy to use and to help you bring those conversations to the next level. So now, obviously, it can be a little bit hard to know what to action when you get off those webinars. So I figured I would just put a key points there for you to sort of get that ball rolling. So the first one is obviously having a discussion on how you can offer cash flow forecasting. So that starts with that internal conversation about how you actually would be able to put that in place. Exploring Spotlight Forecasting by requesting a demo or starting a trial. And that is true. It's any of the apps that are here on today. We are experts in our industry. We have worked with the big fours to small traders. So we have that industry expertise that we're able to bring. So it's important to ask questions, to really feel free to do so. Think about how you'll go about offering cash flow forecasts to every client's business. As we mentioned, it's extremely important for your client to have a cash flow forecast. So how do you actually go about providing that to your clients? And then consider whether you'll be able to offer the following services. So that's coming back to the wheel that we looked at a little not long ago, with more of a structured approach with budgeting and cash flow forecasting, scenario planning, cash flow management, pricing and debtors reviews, and debt and capital reviews. So that's about the time that I have today. So I hope this was insightful. I could definitely go on way more into talking about Spotlight Forecasting in itself. So definitely feel free to reach out to me for a just a more in-depth conversation around it. I've put my email address down there. So definitely feel free to send just an email and we can have a chat about it and how that looks like in your firm. So now I'm going to pass it on to Chris at Lightyear, who will take you through cutting down admin time and running a more efficient payable process.
Thank you, Lorena. First test, make sure I'm off mute, which I believe I am. Hope you can all hear me. Yeah, thanks, Lorena, for that great overview of Spotlight. So hi, everyone. By way of quick introduction, Lightyear is an award-winning accounts payable automation software solution. We're headquartered in the UK, actually in Belfast, which you might have picked up from my accent. Within 2 short years from launching, we've grown to serve more than 15,000 users across 4,000 businesses around the world. So we've had a pretty successful run so far. In 2020, last year, we processed over 5 million documents that had a total transaction value of £5 billion. And what that actually has meant is we've saved our clients last year more than 1 million hours of data entry. We were recently awarded the top AP software by Capterra and Software Advice, a couple of the recommendations that Chris from Chaser had earlier in terms of respected brands. So we're pretty happy about that as well. So that's a little bit of context and introduction to Lightyear. And we're still pretty early on, but as I said, making good progress and we're pretty excited about the journey ahead. So what we do is we save businesses time and money across the AP process by providing fully automated line-by-line data capture and approvals workflow and lots more, which we'll discuss shortly. As a UK headquartered business, that means that all of you guys will receive free live chat and email and phone support from our UK team. So when it comes to cash flow, most businesses concentrate and focus their energy on getting money in, right? I need to pay bills. I'm looking at my cash flow, I'm short, get the money in. And it's quite a reactionary behavior, but understandable. The poor cousin is the accounts payable side of things. So obviously to effectively manage your cash flow, you need both sides of the equation to balance out. It was interesting in the poll that was ran earlier that only, I'm just looking at it now, 7% of attendees use an accounts payable tool. So that's great news for us, and that hopefully a lot of opportunity here to introduce you guys to our software, but also a little bit concerning. And I'm going to guess that means there's quite a lot of lost inefficiencies going on within your businesses. So I hope this is going to be interesting. The most recent Zero report in the UK showed that on average, it costs a UK SME £15 to process one bill. And that's absolutely crazy. So let's look through now a few of those pain points behind the accounts payable process, and how do we get to that £15, and how can we as Lightyear potentially help you reduce those overheads? The first thing is data, okay? Everything starts with data. The insights and forecasts you get out of any software tool. So when you look at your forecasting, you look at your reporting and other tools and your accounting ledgers, well, the insights are only as good as the accuracy of the data that you put in. So there's three main challenges that we see around data, which we've deliberately tried to solve for. The first is the speed at which the data is available. Most businesses are still using paper or scanners even today. In fact, 90% of supplier bills globally are still sent via paper. That's costly, it's slow, and it's error-ridden. So if you're living in this world and you're running analysis, you're always running analysis on old data, right? And if your data is not real time, then how can you really use that in a meaningful way to get bang up to date insights? So what we do at Lightyear is we give you real time data. Every business receives a unique email address, and all you simply do is give that to your supply chain. As soon as they generate an invoice for a goods or a service, that document will hit Lightyear's email server straight away, and within 4 seconds, we'll strip out all of the data. Which brings me to the second point on this slide, the detail. The detail is key. So summary data, I owe £100 to supplier X, that's fine. It tells you how much you need to pay, but it doesn't give you any other detail about what you're paying for, why you're paying it, behavioral trends over time, and all of that lovely data and richness that you can get. So what sets Lightyear apart is we have proprietary technology which extracts line by line data by default. That includes things such as product codes, product descriptions, your unit cost, if you're purchasing products. So we give you by default all of that rich line by line data. And that allows you to do cool things like automatically assigning your coding rules line by line, using our bookkeeping engine, automation engine. But it also gives you rich insights on your purchasing habits. So you can see over time, what's my spending look like to certain suppliers? Are my prices going up, going down? How much of a particular product have I bought? And then you can use that data to negotiate with your supply chain and ultimately save your business money. And then the third piece is the accuracy rate. So any automation solution needs to give you confidence that the data is accurate. Lightyear's proprietary solution that we've developed, we extract data with 100% accuracy from digital native documents. We're the best in the market. There's no one in the market that can offer that accuracy rate. So you have confidence that we will do all of that data entry on behalf of your business. The next big pain point in the approvals process is actually that process of getting documents approved. Okay, so any business that's paying suppliers on terms, i.e. they pay them after the fact, not upfront, you're likely going to have some level of approval process because you can't just pay bills as they come from the supplier and trust that the supplier is owed money, okay? So what we have in Lightyear is a fully customizable approval suite. You can set triggers on a range of criteria and ultimately route bills to the right person as quickly as possible with no touch. So you can set criteria such as internal departments, by supplier, by location, by the value of the document. You can send it to 1 or 2 or 3 people plus an executive. So you can build this matrix out to be super complex. Or if you're a smaller business with just 1 or 2 people, you can again set the matrix to just suit a very simple workflow as well. In addition to the speed of the approvals flow, the approvals matrix also provides segregation of duties, so that will help you avoid fraudulently paying bills, and you have a full audit history. So particularly useful for not-for-profits and other audited entities where they need to see that audit history and have that traceability. Approvals can be made on the mobile app, via email, or the desktop. So what we're just trying to do there is make it easy for the people who need to approve bills to approve the bill. On the mobile, one swipe, on the email, one click, just make it very simple. People don't really want to spend their time approving bills. It's not why they're employed. It's just something they kind of have to do. So we want to make that super easy. Lightyear's customers have documents ready and approved on average within 2 days. We also provide a communication platform for your supply chain. So in terms of supplier comms and dispute handling, if you've been overcharged, if you need to request a credit note, you can do that from within Lightyear with one click. We have a communication platform that emails and collaborates back and forth with your supply chain. So all of your internal and external communication about your payables is managed within this one single unified platform that also does extraction and approvals. So once you have all the bill data ready and the data is extracted, that's great. So the most crucial function, obviously, for most finance departments is the actual scheduling of the payment or the creditor's reconciliation. So if we just switch to the next slide, in terms of reconciliation, we provide a couple of ways to do that with purchase orders. So we have recently released, which is a market-leading three-way matching capability within Lightyear. So if any businesses that are on the webinar have a purchase order process, what we can now do in Lightyear is either raise purchase orders within Lightyear, send those to the suppliers, or we can also bring in purchase orders from external purchase order systems. And because we then strip out the line-by-line data, we will now automatically line-by-line reconcile your PO to invoice. Immediate line by line. That's something that takes businesses a lot of time and money to do, and we're really excited about that. It's just been launched. We also reconcile your statements, so we receive your supplier, weekly, monthly statement immediately, real time. We'll check within Lightyear what you've got, what you're missing, present the variance on screen, and again, you can one-click query with your supply chain. Okay, so again, fully automated. If we just move on, I'm conscious I'm running out of time, so apologies if I'm speaking more quickly. So obviously, once all that data is ready, we then come to the cash flow management aspect, and this is obviously really the critical function. So you've got your data ready. You can then, if you want to go next slide, please. Cool. You got full visibility on your outgoings, and then you can start to schedule your pay runs because you have all the data ready and approved. You know your payment dates, things like that. You can ensure you have availability of funds with our insights, and you can ultimately then avoid late payment fees, which no one wants. But better than that, you can also use Lightyear's platform to detect and automate early payment discount availability. So you can pay bills, a lot of suppliers, if you pay them within 5 days, you get 2, 3, 4% off, and you can really get a lot of cost savings across your business if you have the cash flow available to do so. So in summary, what we're all about is providing live and detailed data, an approvals workflow, and really overall improved visibility and control over your AP process. We have a 30-day free trial. We also offer a free consultation to any business that would like to have a chat to us. That's a consultation to sort of help you evaluate your processes as much as learn about Lightyear. So we'd just love to have a chat with you, get to know you a bit, and try and help you guys, improve your internal processes. Whether that ends up being with Lightyear or not, that's fine. But feel free to reach out to us, and we look forward to hearing from you. So that's me. I'm sorry I went a minute over. Apologies, Sanjay, but I will pass over to my good friend Sanjay at Expend. Thanks.
Hello, good morning all. As mentioned earlier, I'm Sanjay. I'm a business development manager at Expend. Let's start off with who we are at Expend. So we are an all-in-one expense management platform. We cover everything from out-of-pocket expense claims to mileage claims. We even have our own Expend card, which automates the whole expense process for you. In addition, we support expenses paid with any card using universal card support, and also allow invoices and receipts to be scanned into our system. So no matter the software type, we've got a solution for you. And all of these expense claims sync nicely and easily with your favorite accounting software. So obviously we're limited on time, so I'll take you through some of the main features of Expend, show you some of our customers, and explain why you should use Expend. So let's start off with our Smart Expend MasterCard. So this is a prepaid card. You top up funds into your float account, which you can see at the top of the screen. Once funds are topped up, any of the card holders listed below can draw funds from the central account or float account, as long as they're within their spending policy. So Colin has a spending policy of £600 a month, but you can customize this to fit your requirements. For example, £50 a day. The idea with Expend is that we automate the whole expense process. You're empowering employees to make the purchase they need to do the job efficiently without having to wait for sign-off from a senior member of the team or the procurement team to make the purchase for them. However, as an admin, you're always in control, which leads on to this slide, which highlights our security features. So with Expend, you're always in control. You can enable and disable any of the features that you can see on screen. So if an employee misuses the card or the card is lost or stolen, your funds are always safe. We even allow you to block certain merchant types. So if you wanted to block all pubs and bars, you can go ahead and do that with Expend. So let's actually have a look now what happens when a transaction's made. So let's say we're in Poundland making this transaction. At the point of sale, as soon as the transaction's processed, the user will receive a ping notification on their smartphone, basically prompting them to upload their receipts. All the transaction data is automatically populated for them. The user just has to select a category and any tracking groups. So using Expend, there's no more problems with missing or damaged receipts, and VAT is easier to claim back as you actually have the receipt in the first place. So once submitted, this goes over to an admin to review. The admin verifies the transaction and ensures all the information is correct. Once approved by the admin, this is sent over into QuickBooks or Xero using our direct integration, or it's sent in a CSV report, which you can use to sync with any other accounting software of your choice. Now let's look at how the system uses expense reimbursements. So obviously this works well for situations where you don't want to give employees company funds, but still want to track their expenses. In this example, the user has to input the transaction data from the entertainer. They can again do this in the Expend app as well. If they're using the Expend app, they can simply take a picture of the receipt. The transaction data will be automatically populated for them, so they won't have to actually manually enter anything. They just, again, have to select a category and tracking group. And that's it. You know, it's much more streamlined and user-friendly than using spreadsheets or paper-based systems. And then once the transaction has been submitted, much like before, it's passed on to an admin user before reimbursing any expense claims back to the employees, which gives you accountability and transparency. Once approved, it syncs over with QuickBooks and Xero again as a bill and any accounting software using CSV exports. Next, let's look at our mileage tracker. Simply put in your start location and end location, and our mileage tracker will work out the route and the amount that you are due. In this example, we go from our office in Soho to Harlequins Rugby Club in Twickenham. Our system uses HMRC's advisory fuel rates, which automatically update, or the car and van policy at 45p a mile. Unlike other systems, the rate drops once the user has driven 10,000 miles as per HMRC's rules. This again is sent over to an admin to check. And then, as always, this syncs nicely with your accounting software as a bill in QuickBooks and Xero, and CSV with any other accounting software. So the next feature that I'm going to cover is universal card support. And this is something we've added quite recently to Expend, But this great feature lets you support any card type within Expend. So if the director of the company wishes to use their American Express because they want to get their air miles, they can go ahead and use Expend for this. Similar to the out-of-pocket functionality, the user can simply enter in the information manually or take a picture of the receipt and the information will be pre-populated for them. As I'm sure you've probably already guessed, again, that will go over to approval to an admin user and they can approve that. And again, it will be synced across to any of the accounting softwares that you can see on the screen. And then the final feature I'm going to run you through very quickly is our invoice scanning and receipt scanning tool. So much like Receipt Bank, you can scan in all your invoice and receipt data into Expend. You can even use our custom email tool to automatically forward invoices directly into your Expend account. This saves lots of time on admin. In this example, we're scanning in our Expend invoice. We have an optional approval flow for this, where the user can submit the invoice or receipt for review as required. And then as always, this syncs across to your favorite accounting platform nice and easily. So just to give you an idea, a little bit about our customers, we support businesses large and small. I mean, we work with the large national brand like Cote Restaurants to provide Expend cards for over 100 of their restaurants. We also work with small independent businesses, charities, and not-for-profits. Expend is scalable, so we support your requirements no matter your size. Which probably begs the question, so why should you use Expend? I mean, the two obvious reasons are we save you time and money. Less time is spent on the boring, laborious task of doing your expenses, which frees up time to be more productive and actually add value to your business. You could also argue the system actually pays for itself. So a large proportion of our customers, what they actually see is because they actually have the receipt in the first place, they can go ahead and actually claim back for that expense. So it's not in a van somewhere, it's not covered in coffee or on someone's desk. Another reason to obviously use Expend is the ability to gain control of your spending and understand how expenses are flowing through your organization. You get connected with the digital revolution. So we digitize all of your spending and sync them to the accounting software in a format that you know and love. So there's no need for manual entry. We're an award-winning supplier. So we've been awarded the Zero Partner App of the Month, and we are a high performer on G2 as well. Doorbell, as if you could make that up. As always, we have positive reviews from our loyal customers as well. So definitely check out Reviews.io. There's plenty of independent reviews on there where you can see how we've performed. And then that kind of leads on to our final slide, where, if you've got any more questions, my contact details are at the bottom below. I'd invite you to organize a full demo. Obviously, we've only touched the surface of the platform and all the functionalities that we have. You can book in a demo with one of our specialists or book in a call with me, connect with me using the email below, and connect with me on LinkedIn as well. I'll now hand you back to Amaya from Chaser, who will take you through our question and answer section.
Awesome. Thanks so much, everyone. So now's your chance to put any questions into the Q&A, and I'll get the panel to answer these. Do drop me a note with your question if you'd like them directed to a specific app or a particular panelist, so I can make sure you hear back from the right person. I'm just going to give you 30, 40 seconds to pop any questions in, and then we'll read them all out. Okay, so Sanjay, it looks like a question came through for you actually when you're presenting. It says, what is your USP compared with other expense providers?
Okay, that's a great question, that. So our USP is that we basically support any expense type. So there's obviously other platforms out there that do sync and they have a card, namely, you know, Pleo and Soldo and guys like that. But what we focus on is we obviously have the card element, but we have all the other bells and whistles. So we've got the receipt scanning, the invoice scanning, the ability to do mileage, out-of-pocket expense claims. So with Expend, the idea is everything all within one place, all of your expenses within one platform that syncs up to your accounting software of choice. So that's really our USP, that you know, we support all the different expense types, whether it's, you know, on your own card or with one of our cards or anything like that. We can definitely support you. And a huge other differentiator is price. So we work out a lot more cost effective than a lot of those other players as well. And our approach as a company is quite different. So we have business development managers, but we manage the process end to end. So when you speak to some of the other companies, you might speak to one person, you'll then be passed to another department, and then you'll be passed to another account manager. So our business development team manage the clients end to end. So from when they come in, inception as a new user, to all the way to the account management phase. So we also compete on service as well.
Okay, sounds great. Chris at Lightyear, there's a question here for you. Are there any extra charges for users, line items, extra pages, etc.?
No, there's not. We have a very straightforward pricing model, which is you buy a bunch of credits and one document, when exported, deducts one credit from your overall package. So it's very straightforward, unlimited users, unlimited lines, unlimited pages, etc. And that's the pricing model. Just to answer another question I saw pop up there about Republic of Ireland, just to clarify, Lightyear is available in Republic of Ireland. We're actually available in most countries in the world, just to clarify that.
Okay, great. And there's a question here, Chris at Chaser, this one's for you. How long does it take to incorporate Chaser onto Xero?
Great question. Thanks, Amaya. Yeah, very quickly, to be honest, Chaser's got an inbuilt wizard. When you set up Chaser automatically within the application, you connect with your account software and it will automatically start pulling your invoices into the application with immediate effect. Chaser will sync with Xero on the hour every hour, and there's also a sync button available on all the screens there where you can sync automatically to know all the information is up to date straight away. So it's pretty straightforward and simple process to incorporate.
Great, thank you, Chris. And Sanjay, another question for you. Will the mileage claim separate out the fuel element for VAT?
Yes, it will. So we cover. We do cover that in the platform, but yeah, we go ahead. We can do that. If you, Mr. Hall, if you want a bit more information about a mileage tracker, feel free to reach out. We can take you through the full mileage element.
Nice one, thank you. And Lorena, I've got a question here. It says, in the cash flow forecast, is it possible to compare actuals versus budget or forecast?
Yeah, so completely that is possible through the comparison page in Spotlight Forecasting. So you can show the figures from your budget, forecast, and scenarios side by side. Just to answer the other question from Colin, we also are in Republic of Ireland. Well, we work with companies across Republic of Ireland. We're not actually based there, but yes, like Lightyear, we work with companies literally across the globe, so 100%.
Nice, thank you. And Sanjay, a similar question for you, and got asked to Chaser as well. How long does it take to open an Expend account? Will it take a long time to set up?
So it takes about 30 seconds to open up an Expend account. The only thing that can take a bit of time is the KYC process, but we have a turnaround time of about 24 hours on that. So again, it's not the longest turnaround time, but it all depends on how long it takes for you to supply a document. So just for anyone that doesn't know, a KYC is just know your customer check. That's quite popular for fintech products, where we ask for proof of ID and proof of address for the director or person of significant control within the organization. But it's a super quick turnaround time. So yeah, you shouldn't have any worries around that.
Nice one, thank you. Chris, at Lightyear, someone has asked, do Lightyear handle multi-location businesses?
Absolutely, yes. One of our USPs is you can have a parent and subsidiary structure. So we do indeed handle multi-entity, that can be multi-country, multi-jurisdiction. We automatically extract different currencies and all that stuff is all automated. So yes, absolutely is the answer.
Nice, thanks. And Chris at Chaser, another question for you. What kind of business verticals does Chaser generally support? We have clients across a range of industries who could benefit, but they have very varied payment terms.
Yeah, another great question there. So we've got a multitude of different client verticals who use Chaser, who all have different payment terms. I mean, quite often there's a 14 days or 30 days or 60 or 90 days within there. It doesn't matter. It's regardless of business type or vertical. So we have construction businesses, architects, accountants, digital agencies, software providers, hardware providers, block management companies, and ultimately anybody who sends invoices and extends credit is suitable for Chaser. And it's literally a plug and play application that can obviously reduce those late payments and bad debts, and aims to do that as effectively as possible. So multiple industry types, multiple verticals.
Great. Sanjay, someone's asked, I assume this is one of the accountants or bookkeepers tuning in, do you expect to have a partnership program for accountants?
Yeah, we do have a partnership program where we offer special incentives to our accounting partners, and we also have special features that are available exclusively to them as part of our beta program. And we offer a incentivized rate. So, you know, even for customers that are listening, tell your accountant about Expend and tell them to give us a call, because you can benefit off that, and you can get a discount off that as well. So it's definitely worth speaking to us about that. I just noticed also a question, around how does Expend deal with electric vehicles for both mileage and fuel? So as part of HMRC's advisory fuel rates, when we get the vehicle set up, we actually look at the vehicle type and we look into whether it's an electric, diesel or petrol. So our system basically accounts for this and pays the rate accordingly. So we've sort of future-proofed that element to an extent, because we know that the future now is electric vehicles, and there's a shift towards that across the board, whether it's delivery companies that are now using them as part of their fleets, to, you know, directors of companies that need to do a mileage claim with their electric vehicles as well.
Cool, thanks, Sanjay. Just whilst we were on, a question from an accountant, another one has come in, Lorena, for you. How much do firms tend to charge for a forecast? Any guidance on this appreciated?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it very much depends on how much depth the forecast goes into. Obviously, if there's any scenarios that are associated with it. So that's something that the sort of customer success specialist here would work with you on establishing, you know, your pricing structure with regards to like your client base. But to sort of give you a rough estimate, it typically you would start charging anywhere from £500 for a forecast. Again, there's lots of different variants with it.
Nice, thanks for that. And Chris at Chaser, somebody has asked, what results could we expect after implementing Chaser? How long would it take to have an effect? We're in construction and have a backlog of very old debt.
Sure, another great question there. So I guess typically we see our customers get paid 16 days sooner using an automated credit control process, and reduce the day sales outstanding by 25% and save, you know, over 335 hours a year typically on this on these type of laborious tasks, so to speak. So many businesses obviously make the saving of not having to employ additional credit control human resource, which is a big cost drain on any business, as we all know, in regards to chasing these late payments and bad debts. So yeah, ultimately great success we've seen. I mean, one of our partners who we have regular conversations with, they saw late payment or accounts receivables reduce from 150K down to 110K within 2 weeks of implementation of Chaser. So again, having this automated process in place, both time in terms of cost savings from a human perspective, but also from a results perspective, is where we get our success from.
Nice one. Thank you, Chris. Lightyear, a question for you. How long does it take to implement Lightyear?
How long is a piece of string, I guess? So technically, you could be up and running in 3-4 minutes, sign up for a account and just get going. But obviously, by the nature of what we do, which is set up approval, customizable workflows, train lots of different people that use the system. So usually we take the time to support our customers. We discuss a specific rollout plan, and then we will step them through this and make sure everybody is on board and trained well. So our average onboarding time is typically about 14 days to arrange training. But if you're a simple business, you in theory can sign up online yourself and get using the system in a couple of minutes. So it really depends on your business requirements.
Nice, thank you, Chris. And then Chris at Chaser, another question came in for you. This is from the same person who asked the construction industry question. How many payment reminders can we schedule for an invoice? Our customers can take a lot of following up and normally need more than just the 5 reminders. Oh, Chris, I think you're on mute.
My bad there, apologies. Yeah, you can set up unlimited payment reminders using Chaser schedules. So we know that the standard kind of 5 reminders in a number of different accounting software applications is simply not enough, which is why you've got the flexibility to chase as many reminders or schedule many as reminders as required. So Chaser won't stop chasing until you tell it to do so, or until that invoice is paid. And so it will keep sending the last reminder in the schedule each week until the client pays, or you escalate to the collections team at Chaser within the application.
Awesome, thanks, Chris. And then Lorena, there's just one last question here for you. If anyone has anything else to ask, please pop it in now. But if not, this is the last one. So I assume this is about one of Spotlight's new features. It says, is there a set date for the release of the elimination feature in the consolidated forecast?
So there's no set dates yet on it, but it is coming up in the next few months. So we did release the biggest chunk, which was the consolidated forecasting, which obviously was a really big thing in the industry to release, but it works fully. It's super intuitive and easy to use. Now it's more about sort of like we're putting out small features to make it better and even easier to use. So not a set date yet, but I would say stay put because it should be coming in the next few months.
Great, thank you. And Chris, there's just a question that's come in just now. It says, how does Chaser work from accessing the data to contacting the client by email, letter, or call? And what if the client is overseas?
Sure. So let me just read through the question again. How does Chaser actually work from accessing the data to contacting the client? So the data actually is pulled into Chaser directly from the accounting application. So the data is furnished from Xero or QuickBooks, from the invoices that are populated within here. In terms of chasing, absolutely, chasing overseas is absolutely fine. From a collections perspective, we only do that within the UK. It's just a UK function at this moment in time, but we're looking at downstream the opportunity, I think, for doing that overseas as well.
Great, thanks, Chris. There's another question here from an anonymous attendee. I just wondered if you could give a bit of clarification on which Apple panelist that's directed to. I assume it might be Chris at Lightyear. It says, how does the workflow look? So that could be Chaser schedules, or it could be Lightyear's. But Chris at Lightyear, if you wanted to give some background on that. Oh, sorry.
It's for Chaser.
Not Chris at Lightyear. They've just said Chaser.
Back to Chris number 2.
Sorry, so how does the workflow look? So ultimately the workflow is quite straightforward. It's synced with Xero. We pull in the invoices from Xero. on the hour, every hour. So the synchronization happens across the board. And then you set Chaser up in terms of the schedules and the templates you'd like within there, and choose, I guess, the frequency and the messaging within those schedules to go out and chase those late payments and bad debts. So it's fully customizable to your business.
Nice one. Thank you, Chris. So it looks like that's everything in the Q&A covered now. So thank you for joining and for all the great questions, everyone. And a big thanks to all of our panelists today. You'll receive an email with the webinar recording either this afternoon or tomorrow morning. So do keep an eye out for that. But thanks again for joining this morning, and we'll be in touch shortly.
Thanks all.